Imagine holding on to something so tightly that your hands begin to ache, your fingers cramp, and your strength fades. And yet you refuse to release it, believing that holding on is the only way to control, to fix, or to preserve. But what if I told you that the power isn't in holding, it's in letting go? Today we're uncovering a profound secret, the secret of letting go, the burden of holding on. Imagine carrying a backpack full of rocks everywhere you go. At first, you may think you're strong enough to bear the weight, but over time, the strain becomes unbearable, your shoulders ache, your back bends, and every step feels heavier than the last. This is what holding on does to the human soul. Whether it's a painful memory, a toxic relationship, a grudge, or the fear of the unknown, holding on burdens us in ways we may not even realize. Why do we hold on? For many, it's because of fear. Fear of what might happen if we let go. Fear of losing control. Fear of stepping into a life without the comfort of the familiar, even if the familiar is hurting us. There's a part of us that believes clinging tightly will somehow fix what's broken, heal what's hurt, or protect us from further pain. But the truth is, holding on can be more destructive than the pain we're trying to avoid. Think of someone holding onto a rope tied to a heavy weight, sinking in the ocean. The tighter they hold on, the deeper they're pulled under, gasping for air, desperate for relief. Yet they keep gripping the rope, thinking they have no other choice. What they don't realize is that freedom lies in releasing their grasp. We see this in our own lives. How many times have we replayed an argument in our minds, wishing we'd said something different? How often do we cling to the approval of others, needing validation to feel worthy? How many nights have we lost sleep over situations we can't change, yet we refuse to let go of the what-ifs? Holding on gives the illusion of control, but in reality, it controls us. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you holding on to a dream that didn't unfold the way you imagined? Are you clinging to anger towards someone who wronged you? Are you gripping a fear of failure so tightly that it's keeping you from taking risks? These things weigh us down, sap our energy, and steal our joy. Letting go requires courage. Letting go is not an act of weakness. It is one of the most courageous things a person can do. It requires you to face the unknown, to release your grip on what feels safe, and to trust that something better awaits on the other side. Think about the story of the trapeze artist. To move forward, they have to let go of the bar they're holding and reach for the next one. There's a moment of vulnerability, a split second when they're suspended in midair with nothing to hold on to. It's terrifying, but it's necessary to complete the performance. In our lives, letting go often feels like that. It's stepping into the unknown where we have no guarantees, no safety net, and no clear vision of what lies ahead. But just like the trapeze artist, we must trust that the next bar, the next opportunity, the next chapter will appear when we need it most. Courage comes from the heart, and letting go is an act of the heart. It means forgiving someone who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It means walking away from a situation that no longer serves you, even if it's painful. It means trusting that your worth isn't tied to what you've lost, but to who you are. Consider the story of a woman named Rachel. For years, Rachel held on to the dream of becoming a concert pianist. She poured her heart into her craft, sacrificing time, relationships, and even her health to chase this goal. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't catch her big break. The disappointment consumed her. She felt like a failure. One day, after years of struggling, Rachel made the difficult decision to let go of her dream. It wasn't easy. She cried. She questioned her worth. But in letting go, she discovered something unexpected: freedom. She found joy in teaching music to children, something she had never considered before. She realized that her identity wasn't tied to being a concert pianist. It was tied to her passion for sharing music with others. Letting go allowed Rachel to step into a new purpose, one that brought her more fulfillment than she could have imagined. It wasn't the life she planned, but it was the life she was meant to live. Courage doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you choose to act in spite of it. Letting go is scary because it requires vulnerability. But vulnerability is where transformation happens. It's where we shed the layers of fear, pride, and control that keep us stuck and step into a life of authenticity and freedom. When you let go, you're not giving up. You're making room. Room for healing, room for growth, room for the unexpected blessings that come when you release what no longer serves you. Letting go is not a single act, but a daily choice. It's choosing to forgive, to trust, to surrender, and to believe that even in the uncertainty, there is hope. It's choosing to believe that life's greatest treasures often lie on the other side of our deepest fears. And the question is, will you have the courage to release what's holding you back? The freedom in letting go. There's an extraordinary freedom that comes with letting go, yet many of us remain blind to it because we're too focused on what we think we'll lose. Letting go often feels like a sacrifice, like we're giving something up that's deeply ingrained in us, something we've carried for so long it feels like a part of who we are. But in reality, letting go isn't about losing. It's about making room for the life you were meant to live. Consider the story of a man who spent years climbing the corporate ladder, consumed by ambition and the relentless need for success. He worked late nights, skipped family gatherings, and sacrificed his health, all in pursuit of a dream he believed would define his worth. But when he finally reached the top, he felt empty. The fulfillment he thought would come with achievement never arrived. One day, after a health scare, he made the decision to walk away. He let go of his position, his title, and the identity he had built around his career. At first, the decision felt like a failure, like he was abandoning everything he had worked for. But as time passed, he realized something profound. In letting go of his need to prove himself, he found freedom. Freedom to spend time with his family, freedom to rediscover passions he had long ignored, freedom to live a life defined by purpose rather than pressure. This is the paradox of letting go. What we fear will diminish us often liberates us. When you release anger, you make room for peace. When you let go of control, you make room for trust. When you surrender the need for approval, you make room for self-worth. Freedom doesn't mean the absence of challenges. It means the ability to face those challenges without the weight of unnecessary burdens. Imagine standing on a hill, holding a kite. As the wind begins to pick up, you feel the kite pulling harder and harder, demanding more slack. If you refuse to let go of the string, even just a little, the kite can't rise. But when you release just enough, the kite soars. Letting go is the same. It allows you to rise, to see life from a higher perspective, and to move forward without the heaviness of what's been holding you back. It's not about forgetting your past or ignoring your pain. It's about choosing not to let those things define you. When you let go, you open yourself to possibilities. You create space for opportunities you couldn't see before because your hands were too full. You create room for relationships to heal, for creativity to flow, and for joy. The freedom in letting go is the freedom to embrace the unknown with open arms, knowing that what lies ahead is greater than what you're leaving behind. Practical steps to let go. Letting go can feel overwhelming, especially when you've held on to something for years, but it's not an impossible task. It's a journey that begins with small, intentional steps. The act of letting go isn't passive. It's a deliberate and courageous choice to release what no longer serves you. The first step is to identify what you're holding on to. Many people go through life carrying burdens they've never stopped to name. Is it a toxic relationship, a regret from the past, a fear of failure? Be honest with yourself and take the time to reflect. Journaling can be a powerful tool in this process. Write down the things you're clinging to and ask yourself why. Often the act of naming your burdens takes away some of their power. Once you've identified what you're holding on to, shift your perspective. Instead of seeing letting go as a loss, see it as an act of empowerment. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How is this helping me grow? When you shift your focus from what you're losing to what you're gaining, the process becomes less daunting and more liberating. Trust is essential in letting go. Trust that life has a way of working things out, even when you can't see the bigger picture. This doesn't mean you won't feel fear or uncertainty. It means choosing to act despite those feelings. Trust can be built through small actions. Take one step toward letting go and see how it feels. If you're letting go of a grudge, start by speaking kindly about the person who hurt you. If you're releasing fear, take a small risk in the direction of your dreams. Forgiveness is a critical part of letting go. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Forgiveness isn't about excusing someone's behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of bitterness. Start by acknowledging your pain and giving yourself permission to feel it. Then make the conscious choice to release it. This doesn't mean forgetting what happened or reconciling with the person who hurt you. It means refusing to let their actions control your life any longer. Another practical step is to create space for what truly matters. Imagine your life as a garden. If it's overrun with weeds, anger, fear, regret, there's no room for flowers to grow. Start clearing out the weeds one by one. Spend time with people who uplift you. Invest in hobbies that bring you joy. Set boundaries that protect your energy. Finally, practice gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful antidotes to fear and control. When you focus on what you have rather than what you've lost, your perspective shifts. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it reminds you that even in the midst of struggle, there is beauty to be found. Letting go isn't a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Some days will be harder than others. You might find yourself tempted to pick up old burdens, to fall back into familiar patterns of control or resentment. But each day is an opportunity to begin again, to release a little more and to trust a little deeper. The process of letting go is not about erasing your past or pretending your pain doesn't exist. It's about honoring your journey while choosing not to let it define your future. It's about making room for hope, for healing, and for the life you were always meant to live. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate act of strength. It's choosing freedom over fear, peace over control, and growth over stagnation. It's realizing that you were never meant to carry every burden, fix every situation, or hold on to every piece of your past. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about rising up. Imagine what your life could look like if you stopped clinging to what's weighing you down. Picture yourself lighter, freer, with open hands and an open heart, ready to receive the blessings that are waiting for you. When you let go, you don't just release what's no longer meant for you, you create space for everything that is. So what is it you need to let go of today? Is it the pain of a past mistake? A dream that no longer fits who you've become? A toxic relationship? Fear of the unknown? Whatever it is, know this: you have the strength to let it go, and in doing so, you will find the life you've been longing for. Letting go is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you live fully, love deeply, and walk freely into the life you were created to live. The secret of letting go is the secret of becoming all that you're meant to be. Now take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you need to. Feel the weight you've been carrying and make the choice to release it. Let go, not because it's easy, but because you deserve to be free. And when you do, you'll discover that in letting go, you're not losing anything at all.